Today I'm going to talk to you about the types of hoists which are available in market. So there are majorly two types of hoists. One is a manual hoist wherein you lift the material by pulling the chain, and the other is an electric hoist with by means of electric motor you lift the material up and down. So these are the major two categories. Now a manual hoist, there are two categories which I'm going to talk to you in the next screen. And electric hoist is again majorly into two categories. One is your chain hoist. The other one is electric wire rope hoist. So chain hoist we don't manufacture. We will manufacture electric wire rope hoist also. Although I'll be talking about both of them in few slides later. So let us go to the manual hoist. So manual hoist or the chain pulley block, which normally is known as, I'd like to explain the difference also in this. So a chain pulley block is something, a simple arrangement where you have these chains. By pulling this chain down in one direction, the lifting hook will move up with the load, of course. And with once you pull the other leg of the chain, the lifting hook will move down. So this is a simple arrangement. There is a set of gears inside it, and the movement of the hook up and down happens. There is a ratchet and a ball arrangement also over here. So once you stop pulling, the load remains where it is. So that is one of the beauties of the chain pulley block. Now a manual hoist is very similar to a chain hoist. The only difference is that it has a set of wheels on top of it. So apart from the load being lifted up and down with the chains, there are more set of chain wherein you can, once you pull the chains in one direction, the trolley will move in one direction, and once you move the chain in the other direction, the trolley will move in the other direction. So actually this combined traveling trolley and the chain pulley block system is known as manual hoist, and this is known as a chain pulley block only. So please note, many people have this um, terminology as mixed up. Manual hoist is chain pulley block with traveling trolley, and chain pulley block alone is a chain pulley block alone. It has a hook arrangement on top of it where it can be hooked onto a eyelash or a beam or something, and you start pulling the load up. So that is one of the major difference in chain pulley block and a manual hoist. Now we go to the electric um, part of it. So in electric, I told you there are two major categories of electric hoist. One is electric chain hoist, and the other one is electric wire rope hoist. Now currently we are not manufacturing electric chain hoist. Electric chain hoist is a simple arrangement wherein what you saw over here, if instead of pulling the load up and down through a chain, if we can provide a motor and a gearbox arrangement. So here the motor and a gearbox arrangement is there, and this is the chain. So instead of driving power from your hand, it drives power from the motor and the gearbox. And it has a traveling trolley also, which is again electric, so it can move in either direction using the electric motors, and it is controlled through this pendant. So do remember, in a chain hoist, the medium of lifting is still the chain. So this is the chain, the medium of lifting is chain. So the difference between a chain hoist and electric hoist is the medium of lifting only. So chain hoist is with chain, and electric hoist, the medium of lifting is through wire ropes. So you can see the wire ropes over here. There is no chain in it. There are wire ropes in it. So this is whenever you see a wire rope and a hoisting arrangement on it, so it's a electric wire rope hoist. It's not a chain hoist. So clear up to now. So we discussed the manual hoist and the difference between manual hoist and chain pulley block, as in over here. Then we discussed what is chain hoist, and then we discussed primarily what is electric wire rope hoist. How is it different from a chain hoist. Why wire rope hoist is known as a wire rope hoist, and why chain hoist is known as a chain hoist. Now we have distinguished the wire rope hoist into uh, five major categories. So this is our definition. It doesn't necessarily mean everyone uses this kind of terminology for the wire rope hoist. So we have uh, categorized wire rope hoist into these five parameters. One is the normal headroom hoist, and the other is the low headroom hoist, as you can see. So in a low headroom hoist, so let's first talk about what is headroom. So headroom is the distance between the lower flange. This is the flange, the beam on which the hoist is attached, and the distance between the lower flange and the center of the hook is known as the headroom of the hoist. So what is headroom again? The distance between the lower flange of the beam and the center of the hook is known as the headroom. So uh, so let's suppose that there is a building. Okay, there is a building, and you have a beam, let's say, at 5 meter level. Okay, so this is the ground level of the building, and this is the 5 meter level where the beam is attached. Now let's assume that you need to lift a load to a height of 4 meters. So the load is lying here, and you want to lift it to 4 meter level. So what would be the required headroom of the hoist? So the required headroom will be, this is at 5 meter level, this is required to be lifted at 4 meter. So the required headroom is distance between these two. What would be the distance be? Yeah, you guessed it right. It is 5 minus 4. That is distance, this one, this is 1 meter. So the headroom required is 5 minus 4 equal to 1 meter in this particular case. Now let's assume that again the same case, 5 meter, and this is the ground level. And now let's assume that you want to lift the load up to 4.5 meter level. So what is the headroom now? So the headroom now is 5 minus 4.5, which is 0.5 meter or 500 mm. So 500 mm is the headroom available with us. Now in a normal headroom hoist, achieving 500 headroom is not feasible, even for a 2-ton hoist. It's not feasible. So in that case, we need to go in for a low headroom hoist. So in a low headroom hoist, this bottom block can go up to very near to the lower flange, and the distance and the headroom would be approximately equal to the bottom block size only. So we can really achieve as low as 500 headrooms in this kind of thing. So how do we achieve? We achieve it uh, by let's see, examine what is the difference between these two. So here this is the cross travel arrangement. You all know that this is the cross travel arrangement. I have shown it to you in the earlier videos. These are the CT wheels, and this is CT gearbox, CT motor. You can see the complete hoisting mechanism is hung below this CT wheel arrangement. So it is entirely below this CT wheel arrangement that the hoisting, the drum is there, the hoisting gearbox, the motor, and the brake is there. So and in this particular case, although the wheels are not visible over here, the wheels are here. This is one set of wheel, the other set of wheels over here, and you can see the complete hoisting machinery is on one side. It's not hung below it. It is on one side of the wheels. So that makes it possible that the bottom block can now come very near to the lower flange. Imagine, or let's say this case, you can see the wheels are, these are the wheels. You can see the wheels are appearing over here. The hoisting mechanism, the complete hoisting mechanism is below this wheel arrangement. So the bottom block can come only as far as possible over here, right? It can't go beyond this. So this is the limiting area, and we can't achieve 500 in this small space. So this is a normal headroom hoist. Which is this? A normal headroom hoist. Now let's come to this picture. So this picture you can see, this is again a low headroom hoist. The hoisting machinery is on this end of the hoist. These are the CT wheel arrangement. So on one side is the hoisting arrangement. This area we have counterweights and panels and etc. to balance out this weight. And the bottom block can go very near to the lower flange of the beam. So this is a low headroom hoist. As I showed you, this is a normal headroom. This is another normal headroom hoist. This is the cross travel arrangement, the ZD wheels and the gearbox arrangement. This is a 25-ton hoist, and the complete hoisting arrangement is below the CT wheel arrangement. So this is a normal headroom hoist. So we discussed the normal headroom and the low headroom hoist. Now, one of the major things which I left is which one is costlier. Of course, the low headroom hoist is costlier. It has more involvement of steel in it, so it's going to be more costlier. But you save a lot in terms of the space. So wherever the building height is lesser, or you want to take the load to the maximum level, so you can use low headroom. In India, normally low headroom is not a very popular feature. We normally use normal headroom hoists only, but it is catching up, and it makes sense. For spending few $1,000, you are able to achieve lesser building height. So I'll recommend you to use a low headroom hoist only. The other types of hoist in our terminology, one is double drum hoist. So incidentally, we are one of the largest manufacturer of high lifts hoist. We specialize in this field area. We have done hoist up to 110-meter lift also. So 110-meter is like you can't even see the hoist. Uh, so in case of a wire rope hoist, the wire rope is wound on the drum, right? And it has to be wound on in a single layer. It cannot be a double layer or a triple layer kind of thing. It has to be wound in a single layer. So once the lifting height increases, the length of the wire rope increases, right? Now you need to accommodate the wire rope. It cannot be, falling apart here and there. So to accommodate the wire rope, you need more length of the drum. So the drum has to be longer. So instead of making the drum longer, what we do is we give two drums to accommodate the wire rope. So that particular model, we call it as a double drum hoist. Uh, Fixed hoist, some of the customer wants that they don't want cross travel arrangement in a hoist. They just want a fixed hoist. It is fixed and it is doing only up and down. So that is known as a fixed hoist. Semi hoist, some of the customers say, okay, give me electrical hoisting arrangement, but the cross travel arrangement should be with push and pull. So they want to optimize or save the cost. So in that case, you go in for a semi-hoist also. So the cross-travel arrangement is through chain system, and hoisting arrangement is electrical. So that is semi-hoist. So understood till now. So I'll go back to the screen. Manual hoist, we have talked about what is actually the manual hoist. Manual hoist is actually chain pulley block with traveling trolley, and there is a separate product which is chain pulley block. Don't confuse it again. And electric hoist, there are two major type of electric hoist. One is electric chain hoist, the other is electric wire rope hoist. In electric wire rope hoist, we are manufacturing 5 kinds of electric wire rope hoist. This is our own terminology. The normal headroom, the low headroom, the double drum type, the fixed hoist type, and the semi hoist. So the normal headroom and low headroom is specially designed for lower building heights, save your building height. Normal headroom is a normal hoist which you see. Double drum is for higher lifts where the lifting height is very high. Fixed hoist is where the hoist is fixed, there is no cross travel arrangement. And in a semi hoist, the cross travel arrangement is through manual arrangement, and hoisting is electrical. So understood it now? If you have understood, tell to your partner, I have understood. If you are watching it alone, tell to yourself you have understood it. If not watch it again. So we come to the last part of this presentation, which is what is the difference between a chain hoist and a electric wire rope hoist, uh, and which one should be preferred. What is the comparison? Uh, we don't manufacture chain hoist, but certainly there are certain advantages and of course disadvantages of a chain hoist, that why we don't manufacture it. So chain hoist advantages are it is very compact in size. It is kind of this big for let's say 2 ton, and it's very compact. The advantage in chain hoist is if the lift, let's say today you are talking about a 6 meter lift chain hoist, you have taken a 6 meter chain hoist, you can easily replace the chain uh, to a higher chain and it becomes a high lift chain hoist. You just have to replace the chain in it and it becomes suitable for a high lift. Uh, it finds application in clean room application because the gearbox typically in a chain hoist is a grease lubricated gearbox, whereas in a electric wire rope hoist we give a oil lubricated hoist. Of course, the oil lubricated hoist gearbox is much better, but since the chain hoist is a compact unit, they prefer giving a grease lubricated one, and there are advantages for that, as I told you. Uh, Chain hoists have very self weight, lower self weight, so it can be dismantled anywhere from anywhere and hung up to a new place. You don't need specialized manpower for that, so you can save on that. Uh, Wherever low headroom requirement, we have a low headroom hoist, but wherever low headroom requirement is there, people tend to use chain hoist because of their compact size. So there is no special design for it. It is already compact. It is already low headroom chain hoist available with you. Uh, some Chinese or other countries chain hoist are available, which are single phased. So wherever in small industries, three-phase power supply is not there, you can use a single phased chain hoist to move your load up and down. Chain hoists usually find their application in smaller capacities. So they start with, let's say, 100 kgs weight and uh, maximum up to 5 ton. Although we have sold chain hoist up to 20 ton also, but the maximum utilization is up to 5 ton. Uh, Cost of chain hoist is usually much lesser than a electric wire hoist. So these were all the advantages of chain hoist, but there are disadvantages too, as I told you. Let's go to what are the disadvantages of a chain hoist. So these are the listed disadvantages of a chain hoist. Chain hoist, normally the people who are manufacturing chain hoist, they are manufacturing it in bulk. It cannot be customized. So in an electric wire hoist, you get an advantage that whatever speeds you are looking for, you're looking for 6 mpm, you're looking for 3 mpm, you're looking for 4 mpm, you're looking for 1.5 mpm. The speeds can be changed and customized according to your need. But in a chain hoist, it's normally a off-the-shelf item, so you don't have a lot of customization possible in the chain hoist. One of the major disadvantages why we don't manufacture chain hoist till date is that the chain can snap immediately. You're lifting load and you won't even know the chain would snap. So it doesn't show you signs of problems being built into the system. So the visibility is not there. The chain might be cracking inside. It's not visibly appearing uh, visibly, and it will snap off immediately. Whereas in a wire rope hoist, the wire rope usually breaks strand by strand. So while physical examination, you can find out, oh, these 3-4 strands of the wire rope are cut, it needs to be replaced now. So it doesn't break, immediately. It gives you time to replace it. Uh, Side pulling in a chain hoist. Although side pulling of the component is not allowed in a wire rope hoist, you shouldn't be doing it in any hoist. But in a chain hoist, if you pull it from side, your chain is going to damage very soon. So chain either might get stuck somewhere in the sprocket or so, or it will fail very easily. Uh, Wherever the higher frequency means you have a lot of work to do with the chain hoist, so don't use a chain hoist in those applications. Chain hoist is meant for lower frequency where the work is only let's say 5 to 6 times in a day. There you can use a chain hoist. Chain hoist cannot be used in hot metal handling. Only wire rope hoist is advisable in these kind of consideration. So overall, I've discussed all the advantages and disadvantages of a chain hoist. What I feel is wire rope hoist is much more robust, is much more durable, and sturdy. Uh, can be used for any applications, light, medium, heavy, to moderate. So that's it. This is Rohit signing off. In case you have any 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 questions, please you can either email me or you can send me a WhatsApp. I'll be happy to respond to any of the questions. Thank you.